it really started off like an absolute house on fire. Obviously 3-0 up in half an hour. And, you know, you saw like the nucleus of a brilliant setup, didn't you, with 3 at the back, the 2 midfielders, and obviously 3 up top with wingers with Son and Lucas. And, you know, the running, the effort, the desire that players were showing in that first half an hour, the movement was absolutely unbelievable. It's just like, when we scored that 3rd goal, we just seemed to switch off. What was it?
You know, if we ever wanted to see a proper manager's bounce, them first 18, 20 minutes, man, that was like the biggest manager bounce we've ever seen. Yeah, it looked absolutely fantastic. You know, we were attacking, we were creating chances. They had a couple of chances as well, but I suppose if you're getting used to that new system, they will do. But yeah, like you say, after 3-0 up, man, it was it just went typical Spursy, didn't it? It just went. They started creating chances. Obviously, later on, we had that sending off as well. But yeah, I loved it. I was actually there with yourself and a few other people. My first game at the new stadium, and it was just so Spursy, man. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Definitely. What did you make out of it, Brian? Because obviously you were here in the studio, so you had maybe a bit of a different perspective than us.
Well, I will say for the first thing, in the first 10 minutes, we had more shots and more attacking play than we have all season. It was like, oh my God, what am I watching? And it was just like the shackles were off. It was like, honestly, like we've grown 10 inches taller. It's like they've gone 10 stone lighter. It was like they were just like possessed. It was great to see. Could have been more. But yeah, that switch off, we literally went 3-0 and thought, okay, job done, and didn't know what to do with ourselves. And they made it very, very hard for us.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, there was all this commotion inside the ground, big trouble in the Vitesse end pretty much all game. I don't really know what was happening, but it seems like the Vitesse fans were fighting with stewards and police and all this kind of stuff.
Started so early as well.
It did, yeah. And apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently it was all kicking off outside the stadium beforehand as well.
Yeah, we didn't see that, no.
But yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts, that Vitesse away end. But let's talk about the lineup, Conte's first lineup. What did you make out of it?
Yeah, we all expected the 3 at the back. It was a question on who's going to start at the 3.
You surprised he went with Davies?
Yeah. Although, was it yourself? No, someone, I remember Tommy or Brian saying, don't be surprised if Davies is one of his, not favourites, but someone who probably entrusts. And I know what you always say, he always gives it his all. Regardless of his ability, he does always give it his all, and he's probably seen that and given him a chance. And for the first, we're going to keep on going back to the first 20 minutes, you know, we'll look like world beaters. But elite, we're not going to see that much in the first game. We weren't going to see that much yesterday. It wasn't going to be his first team. He's only been there 48 hours, but at least what we saw was a system that I think is going to persevere with for the rest of the season. And did it surprise if did it go with Davies? I suppose if it was his second string team or is not his strongest, then no. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him there again.
Brian, what did you make out of the lineup, and do you think that might be his go-to lineup for now, or do you reckon he's going to mix it up a bit for Everton?
I was surprised to see Davies rather than Tanganga, because we said I had a real feeling Tanganga would get a shot, but he didn't. I think we got quite a few of it right. We didn't get Ndombele, did we? We got him out. Davies, like the last couple of games, has been a strange one, but everyone says, you can, like Bob said, you can love or hate Davies, but he gives his all. And he is definitely better as a left centre-back than he is a left back or left wing-back. So, surprised, yes, but can I see why he was picked? Yes. And we're obviously going to play back 3. And it, like I said, we got the best out of Emerson. Reguilon, who I said I thought would be man of the match, wasn't far off. Played a great game, and there's something to work with there. And you've got to remember, he's been training them for what? 2, maybe like 1.5 sessions. So to see the contrast from where we started our last game against United to how we started this one is a positive thing to take from it.
It felt like the players all came out with a bit of a point to prove yesterday from the off, but then after half an hour it did kind of revert to type, what we've been kind of throughout the season pretty much. But in those first half an hour when we were really dominant and really on top, who were the players that really stood out for you guys?
Hugo Lloris, first of all, I'm sure we'll speak about him individually. He was absolutely sensational yesterday. Some of those saves were like when he first came and was making worldies every single game. I think he did himself very, very well. Like I said, I think Emerson played very, very well. He showed what he can do when he's got more license to go forward. He just needs to... Two things he needs to work on: his end product and stop falling down all the time. Yeah. Every single time he's on the floor.
Yeah, you know what? I've noticed that a lot with him. He goes down very easily and stays down for a while.
Yeah.
And same with Ndombele, really.
Yeah.
I think the same with him. Both of them kind of go down really easily and stay down. Is that something like they've picked up in kind of foreign leagues and stuff like that? Or what is that about it?
Conte will put a stop to that. I'm pretty sure he will.
Yep.
He's going to be looking at him thinking, what are you doing? There's no way people will be going down lightly anymore. And the likes of Ndombele and Emerson, yeah, like you say, mate, everything was spot on yesterday from Emerson. A couple of crosses could have been better, but the stamina, the energy, the pace that he brings down that right. I mean, I thought Bergwijn's probably ready-made, tailor-made for that right wing-back position. But Emerson playing like that, man, you can't drop him. And yeah, just got to bulk up a bit more, stay on your feet a bit more, and certainly improve on that end product. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Some players that I want to talk about. First of all, Ben Davies, what you were talking about before. I don't think he had a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination. But having said that, he should have given away a penalty.
Oh, it was blatant.
That was a blatant penalty, wasn't it?
Thank God there's no VAR, because when we got to watch that on the replay, if that was on VAR, penalty all day long.
Yeah.
Penalty without a doubt. But this is the thing with Ben Davies. What I find, and I'm not a huge fan of his, but what I am of is that he's not one of the poison. He's not going around with a bad attitude. He's not good enough. We need to improve. But like I said, he does give you everything, and sometimes I'd rather someone that gave me everything than just someone who might just give you a 50% or just think they're a bit of a show pony. So he comes in for a lot of slack because, like Dyer, he's a scapegoat. But he had a couple of mishaps yesterday, but it's playing in a new formation with a new manager. But yeah, as you said at the beginning, it would have been a penalty all day long.
And I think we can't overlook the fact that he's left-footed as well. I think Conte probably prefer that, having a left-footed down the left-hand side of the... and I think if you think back to Jose's first game as well, away to West Ham, Davies started that, and I think he had a full idea of starting Davies down that left, but he got injured, didn't he? And then we got Reguilon in, and so it was he never went to Davies as often as he could have. So I think it's a big factor that Jose entrusted Davies to start down the left-hand side, and again Conte is. So Davies... Yeah, go on.
No, I was about to say, one other thing I'll add on it is when he was playing with Rose, with Poch, when they were rotating, they all knew the system, so Davies was doing very, very well. Yeah. They could rotate with complete faith that the other one would do the same. And I think now under Conte, if he's given a chance and if he's positionally aware like that, I'm not saying we'll get the best out of him, but we'll get a better Ben Davies than we've seen.
He's better. He's a better backup as centre-back than left-back, isn't he?
100%.
In this kind of system, 3-4-3, essentially what it was last night, do you think that the two midfielders in Skip and Højbjerg are going to be the two players that are going to move us forward in this system? Because, I mean, last night, I wasn't impressed with either of them, to be fair. I mean, Højbjerg was very persistent for the first goal, obviously, and did really well. But I felt he let us down big time in the second half with his passing. And I felt if he would have got better distribution out there and better passing to move it ticking along, maybe we would have looked a lot better in that second half. But wasn't to be. And I thought Højbjerg wasn't that great last night. And Skip as well. I don't think he impacted the game as much as he has done this season. So do you think those two midfielders are going to be the answer for us moving forward this season?
I think it's not surprising that the players that we've been linked with so far are the likes of Kessier and Barella. So is it going to be a case that the quality or lack of quality is going to shine through? Because a lot of people we're Højbjerg fans, aren't we?
Huge.
So, Who isn't? Yeah. Who isn't?
But the question does come into play: is he going to be a Conte player? I think character-wise, he's tailor-made for Conte. Never say die attitude, a fighter, give it his all. But then do you look past probably the lack of quality that he has as a midfielder to our detriment? So I don't know. Skippy tried his best, but for me, he shouldn't be and I said this right from the off, great in midfield, but we shouldn't be relying on him as our sole number one midfielder. We're bigger than that. We're better than that. He needs to be on a... He'll become a great player. I think he'll captain Tottenham and England in the future. I really do. But right now, we shouldn't be relying on him as much as we are.
You're right. I'll carry on with Skip first. Well, first with Skip, we said it when we done a few watch-alongs that it looked like the whole midfield was pinned. We were saying, not just us, other streamers, other people in the chat, that if Skip plays, we play well.
Yeah.
And you can't put that much pressure on a 20-year-old, especially at this level and the level we want to be at.
If that's the case, something's really wrong, isn't it?
Yeah,
something's
exactly.
really wrong in this squad.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So he done fantastic at Norwich. Don't get me wrong. He has played fantastic for us. The last couple of games he hasn't been, but he's a 20 or 21-year-old guy, whatever you want to say, and he's going to get better. Højbjerg, I was concerned, very concerned last night, and I am a huge, huge, huge fan of that man. I love him to pieces. But like I said, and you said it when we were doing the Good Morning Tottenham when Conte came. We're now linked with a better calibre of player, and it does not matter anymore. If we want to get back to or resume to get back to where we were and believe that we need to stay there, we need to chuck sentiment right out the window. And if like we did with Nuno, if Conte comes available, you upgrade, and it's not just for the manager. You got to do it for the players as well. And if someone like a Kessie or a Barella comes in, unfortunately, as much as I love Højbjerg, they are better players.
Apparently, Barella's about to sign a new contract.
Okay, so let's skip Barella, people. Let's go just for Kessie.
If we're splashing the cash,
Yeah, exactly. But Kessie will be an upgrade. Maybe Barella's signed a contract with a release clause that's higher, so maybe you might be right. But unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we're going to be linked with a better calibre of player now. And if you want to win things, you have to have better players.
Who's our other options in a 3-4-3? Who's the other two in midfield you'd pick ahead of a Skip and a Højbjerg?
Winks and Dele.
Winks and Dele, yeah.
I mean, I thought Ndombele when he came on yesterday, he looked really good.
He always does though when he comes on. Let's be honest. He always,
True.
with tiring legs, he's going to get a bit more space. He's going to be able to do his 584 step overs. So yeah,
Emerson was doing that last night.
He did about 15 right at the end, didn't he? Down that right, yeah, in one go. But yeah, Ndombele coming on in the latter stages of the game, playing well. We've heard over and over again. He needs to do it for the 90 odd minutes. So, and the fact we celebrate every time he finishes 90 minutes just says it all. It's 90 minutes. We celebrate more than a goal sometimes. So, but yeah, that's the thing. Who would you play? And like you say, Winks is probably the other option. In that system.
I actually thought Winks looked the sharpest he's been when he came on.
He
last
played
night.
the ball forward. Give him that.
It's the first time. It's the first time in ages we've actually seen. I'm actually going to talk positively about Winks because I thought he came on. Yeah, I know. I think he came on and I think he did really well yesterday. I think it was so much more positive than he's ever been in the last 2 years.
Yeah. I mean,
I know it's not much to look at. It's not much to look at.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like his actual way he was on the pitch, forward thinking, driving forward. That's what we want to see from him.
Yeah. I mean, he'll do a job, but I don't know if we're questioning Højbjerg's and Skip's quality under Conte, then we have to, we can't give a Skip. He played Winks a pass. He played well yesterday. The fact he played the ball forward a couple of times actually did faint. So yeah, it's all about depth. It's all about getting the quality in now. Conte will not settle for an option between Skip, Winks, and unfortunately Højbjerg.
And let's talk about Harry Kane last night, because in my opinion, I thought this was a Harry Kane which you saw visibly trying really hard, getting himself involved in the game. Someone that's coming back into it, in my opinion. I thought maybe he's buying into this project. He's buying into Conte, because I saw a different Harry Kane last night. I don't know about you guys, but I really did see a different Harry Kane last night.
I did. I mean, his passing was better. The holding up the ball to get the red card from the player.
Yeah.
The first red card was pivotal, because they really were on top. So bringing it back down to 10 men each was vital. And he did look like he had an extra spring in his step. We've got to remember, it's one game after 1.5 training sessions. So he's not going to come on, score a hat-trick, 60-yard passes being sprayed everywhere. The whole team are fired. You know what? And actually, I think, in all honesty, this is Sam Moura saying, Scott conceding those 2 goals probably did a lot for us mentally, for Conte to work on. I'd rather he see the bad in the Europa Cup game, or Conference League, rather than a Premier League game on Sunday. So there's a lot to work on. But with Kane, you certainly saw something there. And listen, he's got Conte now. He's got one of the, if not the best manager in the world at the moment on current stats and everything. So he's going to learn from it. And I think he'll come back. All right, got Everton on Sunday, sorry. He'll probably have another good game there. But I think when he comes back from the international break, it'll be all guns blazing.
Yeah.
I want to just before we end the match preview, I want to just like have a look at the goals that were scored last night. So obviously, let's start off with the goals we conceded. Let's start off with the bad, and we'll end off with the good, because the goals we conceded, that first goal, first of all, what's Eric Dyer doing?
Yeah.
What is he doing? Like how many times are we going to say this about Eric Dyer?
Yeah.
You know, the ball comes in and he's just in absolute no man's land, and his man gets in front of him. I don't know if it goes off Dyer or the striker in the end, but what happens there? Well, what's Eric Dyer doing once again?
He had a dire moment. We all expect a dire moment, and there's two puns to that. We always expect it. We know it's going to lead to either an own goal, a player getting away from him. But yeah, he just lost him completely. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe it was too comfortable. They were freeing it up, and that's it is typical Dyer, and it's unfortunate because he had a good game. I thought he looked solid. I was surprised he was in the middle actually, because I thought,
we were surprised.
I was surprised in the middle because I thought Romero'd be there. But yeah, he looked commanding. He was moving. Whenever he moved to left or right, the other guys moved with him, and you could see he was in charge of moving that back three as well. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, man, because if he cuts out little stuff like that, little bits like that, he'd be such a good defender. But he had a dire moment.
He did. I mean, like someone said in the comments here, he was actually at fault for the second goal as well. Where not fault, it was Moura's fault, but the ball going through his legs, and it's hard to see it when that happens with a defender. But first of all, that corner came from the first wonder save of the night from Hugo Lloris, and that was a sensational save. But like you said, I don't know what it is with Eric Dyer. I wish it was just a certain minute every game. Yeah. You knew he had this brain fart, and we could just go like, if it was the 65th minute,
you don't know when it's coming.
It's like okay, 63rd minute, right? Dyer off time, like we do with Dembele, because he, and we were saying it on the fan show as well yesterday, and everyone has been saying it. He plays well, and there's just that one moment, and it just throws away all the. It's his concentration level. It's literally, he just goes into a daydream. He's like, oh, I wonder if Delhi's playing Fortnite or something. And literally, and then the ball's past him, and otherwise he had, like Bob said, a good game. But there's just this moment, and you don't know when it's going to come. We should have like a warning sign or something. It's like, because he just can't stop this lapse of concentration. I don't know how you coach that out of someone.
Yeah, and as Paul Wise says, you know, we always say, Dyer's had a good game, but
exactly
if we could cut that butt out, it'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant. He would be first choice.
Spot on. And the second goal, Lucas Moura. Sorry to you Moura sexuals out there, but Lucas Moura, you know, he does so well to get back and win that ball. And then what's he doing after that with that pass, man? I mean, not taking away from the finish from the striker of Vitesse, because it was absolutely beautiful finesse finish right into the bottom corner, curled around Hugo Lloris. But how did he get in that position? How does Lucas Moura just do that sloppy pass in our own box pretty much, just by the right of our box? I mean, just schoolboy, isn't it?
He fought so hard to get that ball back as well, didn't he? 2-3 times fighting the Vitesse player and getting it back. But then, it was, again, too comfortable. You know, we were 3-1 up, playing great. It looked like we were going to score every time. We're attacking, but we had conceded a goal. We should have been a bit more careful. Conte ain't going to stand for that. Nope. He would have gone in livid. He would have been absolutely. He would have laid into Lucas as well. So, a brain fart, as you would say, from Lucas. And it was a great finish, but you know, it wasn't I know what you're going to say, but it wasn't that hard. It was very well placed, but I do always think Lloris does come to his post too much sometimes and give the opposition player an option. But that's just me.
Fair enough. Well, that's fair enough.
I've got kind of a theory behind it. If you look at it, we're talking Skip, Højbjerg, and Moura, who are three of the players that are rumoured that we've seen that aren't particularly favoured by Conte. So maybe, do you know what? Maybe they tried to do too much to try and say, do you know what? I am worth staying. I am going to show you. And they may have just thought, right, let's try this adventurous pass, or let's do and see if it will win me brownie points. And not saying that is the case, but it's just weird that it's those three that seem to have been lacking yesterday. He always tries so hard. And one thing you get with Moura is 120% commitment. Yeah. But like sometimes he can be wasteful in his passes going forward. That one yesterday was just
shocking.
Yeah, It's just
shocking.
it's schoolboy stuff, isn't it? You get taught that out by a coach. And like I said, the goalkeeper, the Vitesse player put it away very well.
Yeah.
I thought Hugo got a hand to it originally, but he was nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near it.
That's what I was saying. In a position where it is going to your far post, for him not to even get a hand to it, I always think he's always too close to the to the post, and it always gives the opposition player to actually score in the far corner. And we've seen too many goals like that, but maybe I'm just nitpicking. With Lucas, he was the only one who was breaking the lines, wasn't he? He was the only one taking the ball on and going through the defence. So again, like Dyer, apart from that mistake, he was pretty well. Yeah, he played pretty well.
And he obviously got on the score sheet.
Yeah.
What a goal that was.
Oh, man.
What a goal. And when you're talking about the Nuno Spurs, right, and when you're talking about not building from the back, this is exactly what we wanted to see from this
100%.
team, because I kept saying it time and time again. We know this team can build from the back. We know this team has ability. Why are we going over the top? Why are we looking for diagonals every single time? Why can we only hit them on the transition, right? Yesterday, in that goal, Lucas Moura's goal, every single player bar Lloris, Emerson and Reguilon touched that ball.
Yep.
You know, and that for me is mind-blowing, because we couldn't even put two passes together under Nuno.
And the last 5 or 6 touches were one touch
passes, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And as soon as Lucas went through, you knew he was going to score.
And you know, not only did you know he was going to score, but he had options either side of him if he wanted to.
He had runners either side. Brilliant goal, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, we were watching it, so as we were watching it, it's like they said, we can pass two things together at Nuno, and even when we were, it was just back, side, back, and you thought there's no intensity or nowhere this play's going. But yesterday, it just looked like I was saying, we scored a couple of goals like this before. We scored one with Adebayor against QPR when it was Harry Redknapp, and there was another one with Mauricio Pochettino with Everton when Christian Eriksen's, when every player touched the ball. And it looked like that. There were options. There was movement. It wasn't Madame Tussauds FC yesterday. There was actual. Yes, we went static in the second half, but the movement for that goal was simply incredible.
It really was. It really was. And you know, time and time again, Romero was getting in front of a midfielder, getting in front of an attacker, being aggressive, getting the ball. How many chances did Romero on his own create last night? You know, 2 or 3. And the first goal, where Sonny polished it off, I mean, we had a couple of
Ping Pong FC.
Ping Pong FC,
but, you know, got there in the end with a nice finish from Sonny.
Yeah.
But it was just the effort and the desire for that first goal that made it happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure under Nuno it would have been a case of, here we go, we get another chance miss, and we're heads down, everything, but they never gave up.
Yes, persistence. That really made it happen.
Exactly. And it was like you say, Ping Pong FC. The ball could have gone anywhere. But Sonny never gave it up. Højbjerg didn't give it up, and like I say, Sonny, as soon as the ball was at his foot, you knew he was going to score. Absolutely brilliant.
And the third goal, Ben Davies nearly getting on the score sheet at
What
one
was
stage.
that?
What was he doing in the
There was a
box
slight
there,
nosebleed. There was a bit of a nosebleed there. I think that's the reason why I missed.
Well, no, what was that? But the way that it then, Harry Kane on the defender got a touch, then it went over the line, it hit the crossbar, hit the goalie's head, hit the bar, hit the shoulder, bounced out. It's like, what is going on?
I called own goal there and there, didn't I? So I looked at you.
Did he give it own goal?
Yeah,
he gave it own goal.
goal.
It was, but it was the most comical of goals. All started by Ben Davies' cross shot thing, pass, assist. I don't know what you call
the
it.
defender and the goalkeeper just got shocked Ben Davies.
that was it.
Maybe that's
What?
what it is.
It really could have been. It really could have been. But listen, we got the goal.
Harry Kane looked so gutted. He didn't get the goal though, did he? He looked so gutted.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah,
you want to see Harry
yeah.
Kane gutted that he's not getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all in all, I think that you got to say it's a positive start to the Conte regime. I know it didn't go all as we planned last night, and there were some kind of the Nuno kind of regime creeping into that performance. But you're going to get that after one game, aren't you? You're going to get that after one game. It's going to be a process. We're going to need to trust that process, and we're going to need to listen to what Conte says. And in his post-match interview last night, he was saying, I hate this kind of game.
Yeah.
I hate this kind of game.
Crazy game, yeah.
Crazy games. You know, he would just, you know, when you've got the opportunity to kill the opponent, you must kill the opponent. And that was a true, barometer of that last night, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think I wasn't expecting miracles.
After half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, here we go. It's going to be 8-0. But what I did expect is something of a structure from Conte, and we saw that 3-4-3, which I thought, at least he's got the guts to do that straight away. But Conte would have learnt more from that game yesterday than he would have learnt in a training session.
Yeah.
Certainly for the first couple of days. And that can only be a positive.
It was, but also, how refreshed is it to see a nice press conference? All right, it's his first one, and he's going to be a little bit upper and whatever. But when we hear these press conferences now, we can go away as Spurs fans and take something from what he's saying and say, right, he's saying we need to do this, he's saying we need to do that. He's not just saying that. He's not saying, for instance, we need to work, we need to find solutions. He's saying, this is what we're doing.
Improve.
Exactly. But this time, you can actually say, do you know what? He's saying this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And my God, are they going to do it? So it's very, very refreshing at long last to hear again.
Yeah, I mean, when Nuno was doing his post-match press conferences, you're listening to him and you're like, do I really believe this guy? I mean, it's not like do you really believe this guy, but do you really have faith in this guy? Maybe is the right term. When you listen to Conte speak, you're like, wow. Like, you just sit there and shut up and listen, don't you? You just sit there
we're
and shut up and
inspired,
listen.
aren't we? We're inspired as fans, so I'm sure the players are. But Nuno, you know, I've always said this, and you know the words I'm going to say: mediocre manager from a mid-table playing, pragmatic playing team. He was never going to get the respect, unfortunately, and he was never going to inspire us as fans as well. Yeah, it never worked out for him at Wolves. How can he take on a job like Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and take them to the next level?
It was too much, man.
It was too much.
Well,
It was too much.
I had actually stopped listening to the press conference unless I was coming into the studio with you, because I just could not be bothered to hear the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
We must be better. We must be better.
I think we counted
Must
on the last press conference we did after the United game. I think he said the word solution 5 times and work like 8 or it's like, oh my God, every week.
I actually found the Nuno press conference more mundane than the Mason ones. I really did.
Oh.
That's a bold. I think I'd agree with you. I would agree with you, because at least you could see with Ryan he had a bit of passion for the club or whatever, and it affected him. Whereas, and I keep going back to what your grandpa said, the legend that is your grandpa, when he said he looks like Nuno's depressed. I really think
he said that. Yeah,
he said it, and do you know what? The more and more you look into it, and the way his body language was and his mannerisms, I'd have to say I completely agree with the great man.
the only time we saw him smile was that first interview. Wasn't
Make
it?
you proud.
We're going to make you
we're
proud.
Gonna make you
We're
proud.
gonna make you
Even
proud.
messed that up, man. Even messed that up. We're going to make you proud. We're going to make our proud. What? You what?